The Skunks began in the summer of 1979, early summer of 1979. Gary Dimmadowden on drums and myself were getting together, and Paul Burton came along too, and we were jamming.
Thrashing around with a absolute Sex Pistols cover band called Agent Orange. Wound up, I used to see Mark and the other guys around the same sort of gigs around the time, and when Agent Orange was finishing up, got approached.
I'm Chris Hayne, and I joined the Skunks after their first drummer left.
Before the Skunks, I was in a band called No Tactics with Gun Control's Kelly Hewson.
Once we started practicing a bit, the next thing was trying to do was to get gigs and that around the place.
I was still at school, and I saw the Skunks practicing at like a soccer club room near my area. I was on my push bike at the time.
Agent Orange split up, so we poached Michael, and the Skunks was born, and it went from there.
At that time, a lot of the venue people really didn't like the idea of punks and thought they would cause a lot of trouble. We did luckily have some huge trouble at some of our gigs, which was great fun.
That's it. No more music. I'm telling you, you stop. This is not for fighting. Haven't you got better places to go and fight? You don't pay $4 to come and fight, you come to pay to see a band.
I did know a friend of mine, Gary Simmons, Scarman, Yab.
Actually, yeah,
He also knew the Skunks, and when Gary Dowden was leaving, he said, you know, he knew a drummer and he was keen, which was me, and I was, and they were everything I ever hoped for in a band, you know.
We had just about every show we played, we had rockers almost camping outside of the pub waiting for the gig to finish. The band were actually lucky. We missed a lot of the violence, but the punters themselves who came to the gigs would have to file out of the Aurora Hotel, as it mostly was then, into the waiting arms and fists of the rockers. And that was just one of several circumstances that just being a punk was back then. You wore Doc Martens on your feet and you spiked your hair up if you were a skinhead, likewise if you're a mod, likewise.
We were in the middle of the pecking orders. I mean,
Yeah.
your basic mods are at the bottom of the pile.
Shortcut into adulthood for me, you know, like went from school to gigs all over town, and yeah, they were great days.
The rockers would be waiting around for us, and we had lots of circumstances where we would have to leg it out of town. One time we got bailed up in a record shop called Andromeda, where Target is now, on the corner of Rundle Street and Pulteney, yeah.
And they kicked one of us through a pile of records
Yes,
or something.
yeah. Another time we got chased out of the mall.
Yeah.
And so times were different back then. You don't have that sort of...
Yeah, if you wore the badge, you sort of had to...
wear it hard.
Yeah, you couldn't just go down and buy
You had to earn it.
punk rock kit.
Yeah. The Aurora was much a part of that too, wasn't it? The Aurora Hotel. It's no longer there. What corner of that would be? Peary Street and...
On Highmarsh Square there.
Yeah, Highmarsh Square, the southeastern corner.
Yeah. Knocked that down at 2 o'clock in the morning they did, to avoid a heritage order.
One night we were at the Aurora Hotel, and the mods were there as usual, their bikes all neatly parked up along the curb there. Along comes Michael, myself and Dave Taskus of Grong Grong, and I just still laugh so much. One bike went down, they all went down, and there was just the three of us,
nothing like
and there was about 30 or 40 of them, and they wouldn't come outside.
And all their scooters were lying on the ground. Poor old mods.
We did have a lot of support from the local skinheads from my area.
Yeah, the Modbury crew.
So they always got us out of a few sticky situations.
At that time, as a group, things were just sort of clicking with us all. And we were for original music and a band in Adelaide, at that time we were making some really good music. It's always a bit of a mystery, I suppose, with the Skunks, because we were only around for 12 months. We put out an EP, caused a whole lot of trouble, had a few big arguments and split up.
The EP, the Scratch and Sniff thing, you know, which now is very collectible and probably worth, you know, in the vicinity of how many pesos?
A couple of lira.
Yeah, no,
1 million
you know,
pesos?
we're looking big bucks now. You know, like a couple of hundred. I hear.
Why did we give them all away?
Yeah, and I used to give the things away for pints at the Clovercrest Hotel because I had, you know, I was at school, had no money, and if I could get a bit of that back, I would really like that.
We recorded 5 songs with Gary, and hopefully it's going to end up on an American released double CD, but it's been a bit of a long time coming. The Skunks had some originality happening there. Michael was quite the idea man.
Yes, the good old Dedazara and the Dingo Dance. That started off as my 21st, and it was a good idea to have a gig. And it was a great idea for advertising.
And we couldn't get a gig anywhere.
With hindsight, because the trouble was we couldn't get a gig anywhere in Adelaide, so we decided that we concentrate on doing our own gigs. And this time here, of course, to use 21st, so I booked a hall. We were actually, it was after a practice one night, we came up with this great idea. We had no idea of what our great idea would do. It was harmless to us. So we put out the posters, and then the shit hit the fan. It was incredible. Like I had media people phoning up all day. Who is my wife now, my girlfriend at that point of time at her work. She got abused at work because people knew that she was associated with me and what was going to go on. I know there's something about bad taste. I mean, we never really quite understood that, but there's something about bad taste. And so eventually, of course, we had to cancel the whole show, and that even added to, if you like, the mythology or whatever going on about it there. But that sort of set us left of centre of anything and anybody. Even a lot of bands who thought they were punks and they were doing this and that, they were doing that. When that happened, everybody just sort of stood back and said, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Might have had something to do with the bring a baby doll and you get in half price, and it was only $2 to get in.
It was $2. It was $2 to get in, and if you brought a toy baby, you got in for half price.
We're still going to take your dollar.
That's that's it. I mean, that's the sort of advertising McDonald's do. And we had a song called Picnic at Ayers Rock, which was a
Very
classic,
topical.
which was one of our best songs ever. A good song. And after the aftermath of the Dedazara dance, we actually took our lyrics to our lawyer just to check to see whether or not, because someone indicated we could get sued by.
We were going to record it.
We were going to record it and release it. And the lawyer guy said, you know, sort of punk rock's good fun, but boys don't go there because you will get in serious trouble. So really, other than, it might be on a video around the place, but we never, ever recorded it. And we even sort of put it in a bit of the background and playing it on the set, because they said if somebody even turned up and recorded it, you'd sort of get in trouble. I mean, Talkback Radio went berserk. They just couldn't believe it.
We were waiting for
know.
bricks to come through the window.
Jeremy Cordeaux, Baz and Pilco.
See, we placed it on the silver balls in the mall 2 weeks after they'd been erected. We must talk about the Boot Boy Pop Tour.
What was it?
Comebacks.
What was
Great
it?
poster.
Comebacks. Yes, good artwork.
90.
Great band.
90.
No, we did the first reunion comeback was at the
The Rocks.
La Rocks,
87.
which was the return of the Skunks.
Mr. Chris Hardy. Oh, we never used to do this before. Become a bit of a show. Just like a clown, you might pickle down, but when you're down, you might have it up. And you like this next destruction, no hesitation, this one destruction.
87, it was a Boot Boy Pop tour to Melbourne, and we're playing with like Festus Fanatics, Bastard Squad.
Bastard Squad.
They were a
great,
big band,
legendary
great
band. Yeah.
great band,
Melbourne
Bastard
band.
Squad. And
They're back together actually.
Yeah, they are. New album. It's
Yeah.
good.
Since he's been out.
Yeah, they've been over here a few times.
Yeah.
Bastard Squad.
one of the things too, like we used to do a lot of songs that for some reason other people used to find offensive, like Killer Hippie, Do the Mod Stomp, and other things like that, you know, which we all just took as a bit of good fun. Even today, you know,
Fun.
I still hate hippies. I mean, I can't stand them.
We're sort of probably the last of the Anzac punks here, I'd say. You know, the lines are getting thinner and thinner every year, and
But age does weary us.
age does
weary us.
You know. Back then, you had to do a bit yourself and invent yourself. You know, now it's just all sold in one bag, and you know, nothing's left to the imagination, is it?
So many people got into it, and now it's just.
The thing is though now though, because when we started playing, I think we were like a part of a revolution, something different, you know, is happening. We pissed on what was in the past, and we said we don't care about that. I mean, when bands used to play, like they used to come up first night, they'd do a practice at a gig, and the worse you were, the better you were, because everybody got into it.
Yeah.
Because it was the guy that you were standing next to, or someone else was getting up there and doing it just as good as anybody else.
I remember even simple things like buying a pair of Doc Martens back then. You could only get brown.
You could actually
so you had to dye your own, and Tony Loader used to do...
I used to send away from mine.
He used to do extensions.
Yeah, he did too.
So you had, instead of 8 holes, you could have 10 holes.
But you could send away for... I got a pair of 10-hole docks for under $50.
Yeah.
Send away to the UK for them. Mind you, this is
pre-email, pre-eBay, pre-mobile phone.
I used to have a padlock around my neck with a chain around it, and for 2 years my old man said to me, "Take that fucking lock off your neck." For 2 years, and I never took it off.
Yeah, didn't have the key.
Well, we're saying our goodbyes now. I hope you've enjoyed what words we've had to part with.
So wanna be an Adelaide, so want a nation under the middle. Can you hear the sound of history?
Some of the best times I've had with this band, you know. So I'm still carrying on with the local Adelaide scene, you know, and who can quit it? Who'd want to, you know? There's no need to.
One Horse Town, Grunter, Order of Decay.
Grunter, Order of Decay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, I think once you get into music, it's always there in the background. I haven't still think about doing something sometime.
The Skunks was probably my greatest claim to fame, if fame can be quoted, but the Petition after that. And then lots of other bands, Belial and Basket Case and Sudafed, and still in a band now. I'm in a band called NFI, and we are going strong, 8 years long.
The Skunks did set me up with, you know, a good pedigree. So I was able, you know, I've gone on and still playing local Adelaide bands now. Gone to sort of more rockabilly stuff, and I play guitar. But if you're ever in Adelaide and you want to see a, you know, custom culture event, you're quite welcome to come along.
Still doing stuff. I've got a radio show happening, Smash It Up with Dave.
Hello, my name's Phil McTaggart, formerly Phil Perm of Gun Control, who then became Funhouse. Mark was asking me before about what bands I've been in, and there was a band I mentioned, Cage, with Chris initially playing drums, but if I didn't mention Mark Loghead was the drummer afterwards, and a guy called Roland Jasper first, and then Mark Loghead took over, who was a fantastic drummer, and he's actually Paul Loghead's brother, but if I didn't mention that, he would kill me. So Mark, you're a legend. We did lots of great gigs with a great Adelaide band called the Skunks, featuring Mark Hayes and Chris Haines.
There's a classic skunk finish for you, how about it?